पतितानं पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। जय प्रभुपद प्रभुपद जय प्रभुपद। निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल। निताय गौर हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल, हरि बोल। मूकं करोति वाचालं पंगुं लंघयते गिरिं, यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे श्रीगुरुं दिनतारिणं, परमानंद माधवम श्री चैतन्य ईश्वरम। Hare Krishna, I offer my respectful obeisances to all the assembled Vaishnavas, begging your mercy to be able to say something. Very grateful to Krishnanam Prabhu for giving me this opportunity. Thank you, Prabhu. I'm sorry that sometimes it takes time for me to confirm something. Like right now, I'm in a very remote place in North Bengal, in the middle of the forest. And somehow or other, I'm staying in some devotee's house, they have Wi-Fi. I'm actually very surprised. But for last couple of weeks, we've been having programs here every day. And quite amazing how Mahaprabhu's names, Krishna's name is being spread in every town and village. So I have been asked to say something, some pastimes and teachings of Sriman Mahaprabhu. And sometimes the Lord will put us in a very comfortable position. And sometimes the Lord will also put us into some inconveniences. Sometimes is our karma, and sometimes the Lord wants to see how we react. If someone is glorifying, someone is praising us, how do we respond to that? And when the Lord puts us into inconveniences, into so many difficulties, how does the devotee respond to that? Bhaktivinoda Thakur writes, Maharobi Rakhobi Joichato Hara. My Lord, whether you kill me or you keep me alive, that is up to you. That is your sweet will. Nevertheless, I am yours. Aslisyava padaratam pinushtamam adarshanam marmahatam karotu va yatha tatha va vidadhatulam pato mat prananastu sa eva na paraha. Whether you embrace me or you keep me, you are my Lord. You are the Lord of my life. So this is the dedication, and this is the surrender of a pure devotee of the Lord. And when the Lord appears, he appears with his intimate associates to teach us what type of behavior is exhibited by a pure devotee of the Lord. So today we'll be talking about Vasudev Datta and giving 3 or 4 examples. And then we'll try to discuss some points that we can learn from those divine pastimes of the Lord and his intimate associates. As you know, that Vasudev Datta and Mukunda Datta, both of them are, you could say, they're the personal singers or personal kirtaniyas of the Supreme Lord. We have our favorite kirtaniyas, right? Some of us like certain devotees kirtan. So we have our favorite kirtaniyas. And the Lord has his kirtaniyas. And Vasudev Datta and Mukunda Datta, they are Mahaprabhu's favorite kirtaniyas. Vasudev Datta is the elder brother. Mukunda Datta is the younger brother. But for some reason, Mukunda Datta met the Lord first. And Vasudev Datta met the Lord later on. So one day, Mahaprabhu asked Vasudev Datta, so Vasudev, I know your younger brother for more longer than I know you. But every time I see you, I get so much happiness. Meaning that he knows Mukunda Datta much more as far as time is concerned. He knows him for longer time. But with Vasudev Datta, Mahaprabhu said that it seems like there is some special bonding. And he's your younger brother, Mahaprabhu told him. Immediately, Vasudev Datta responded, Chotto hoiya ebe hoilo mor jeshta. My Lord, you have said that Mukunda Datta is my younger brother. Yes, it is true. But by your mercy, I have realized that even though Mukunda Datta is my younger brother, but actually he is my elder brother. Why? তোমার কৃপাপাত্র তাতে সর্বগুণ শ্রেষ্ঠ. He is endowed with all the good qualities of a Vaishnavas and he has received your mercy. It's a very important lesson that we learn from here. That yes, that someone who is more older to you, he is senior, someone who has taken initiation before you is more senior, someone who's holding a bigger position is senior. Yes, no doubt about that. But seniority is not only limited to these things. By age, initiation before, by holding certain position, those are important, highly respected, Haribol, all glories to those devotees. But at the same time, Mahaprabhu's teaching is a devotee is very, very respectful to everyone, especially those who are chanting Hare Krishna mantra, Maha mantra, because you never know how advanced those devotees are. You may know a devotee for 15, 20, 30, 40 years, but to know his heart, how much he loves Krishna, how genuinely he chants Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, how dedicated he is to Prabhupada and to Prabhupada's preaching mission, we don't know. And therefore, a devotee is respectful regardless if someone is younger to him. Someone who has taken initiation before him, he is very respectful to that devotee. Someone who may not be holding position as much as that particular devotee does, still is very, very respectful to that devotee. And when Mahaprabhu actually heard Mukunda Datta speak like this, Vasudev Datta speak like this to Mahaprabhu, Mahaprabhu was very, very pleased, very pleased. So the most important factor is what pleases the Lord the most. This attitude of a devotee, of respecting other devotees, never mind of the age, never mind, when he joined the movement, never mind what the position is. But a devotee he is very respectful to other devotees. When a devotee has this quality, it pleases the Lord very much. And that should be our focus. What pleases Mahaprabhu? Just like Haridas Thakur. He told the Lord, my Lord, I'm not sure whether in my next life I'll be able to get a human form of life. Forget about going back home, back to Godhead. Please understand, we're talking about Namacharya Haridas Thakur. And his mood to the Lord is, my Lord, I don't know if I'm able to get a human form of life. But my Lord, even if I have to be born as a dog in my next life, that is okay, my Lord. That is okay. But my request is that, my Lord, please let me be born as a dog in a home of a Vaishnava. That's all what I want. That's it. So this mood of humility, this mood of that I am very low, I am unqualified. And with the mood of humility, he serves other devotees. This quality of a devotee, it pleases the Lord very much. And from the life of Vasudeva Datta, we can see that. Another example of Vasudeva Datta that pleased the Lord to a great extent. Mahaprabhu was in Jagannath Puri. So one day Vasudeva Datta went to Mahaprabhu with folded hands, with great humility. The Lord Vasudeva Datta said, "My Lord, you're the most magnanimous Lord. You're the most merciful Lord. My Lord, I have a desire, and only you can fulfill that desire." Vasudeva Datta till now has never ever asked anything from the Lord. Never. And here Vasudeva Datta with folded hands, he is asking the Lord, "My Lord, please give me this benediction." So the Lord was so pleased with him. He told Vasudeva Datta, "Vasudeva Datta, please tell me what you want. There is nothing that I have that I will not give you. Tell me what you want." Vasudeva Datta said, "Vasudev, bole Prabhu, ei dehamar, sarvajeev choli jao vaikuntha nagar." My Lord, this is the benediction that I want, that let all the living entities go back home, back to Godhead. Let them go to Vaikuntha. And Narok bhujibo sada jiver kara. And I do not mind being in hell for eternity, if that's what it takes for the living entities to go back home, back to Godhead. Because of their sinful activities, they cannot go. Then I am willing to go to hell for eternity for the living entities. Sakal jibere Prabhu karo uddhar. But my Lord, please, my Lord, please deliver all the living entities. I am willing to take their sinful reaction. Tar daye narok bhog ho kamar. Let me suffer in hell. Mahaprabhu, upon hearing Vasudeva Datta, he became very, very emotional. The Lord began to cry. So, my dear Vasudeva Datta, the fact that you have desired to deliver the living entities, they have been delivered. They will be delivered. You don't have to suffer for the living entities and go to hell. You don't have to do that. So here, it's a very important lesson, and that is that it is very important that the devotees are pleased with us. When devotees are displeased with us, it affects our devotional service. When the devotees are pleased, naturally Krishna is very pleased. And when the devotees are displeased with us, that affects our devotional service. So it is very important that we act in such a way that it pleases the Lord and pleases the devotees. Here we can see that because a devotee like Vasudeva Datta prayed to the Lord for the living entities, the Lord immediately accepted the proposal of Vasudeva Datta. In no circumstances that we'll be in the mood of this, the mood of, I don't care what you feel. Devotees never have this mood, especially towards the other devotees. And when Rupa and Sanatan Goswami met the Lord in Ramkeli, and how the Lord was requesting all the devotees, including Nityananda Prabhu, Haridas Thakur, and all the other devotees that were there, the Lord was requesting all the devotees to bless Rupa and Sanatan Goswami. Even though the Lord was personally there, and he showered his blessings upon Rupa and Sanatan Goswami, still the Lord requested all the devotees to be pleased with Rupa and Sanatan. So devotees pleased with us, that is very important. We should see that we do not displease other devotees. So this is something that is very important. Another example I wanted to give. As you know that Vasudev Datta and Sivananda Sen, both of them were actually very close friends. Friendship in devotional service is very important. Rupa Goswami says, no, dadati pratikrishnati guhyam akhyati prijjati bhungte bhojayate chaiva sarvridhi priti lakshana. And Prabhupada says in the purport of this verse that this is the reason why he established the Hare Krishna movement, so that the devotees can have that relationship. See, devotional service is all about relationship and nothing else. Devotional service is all about our relationship with Krishna, our relationship with the devotees, our relationship with the holy dham, our relationship with the holy name. There's nothing beyond relationship. So we cannot say that, Prabhu, I'm trying to become a devotee, but somehow or other I don't get along with anybody. That's something that we need to work on. So this is a beautiful example of Vasudev Datta and Sivananda Sen. Mahaprabhu came to Bengal, and he came to a place called Halisahar. And so Mahaprabhu, I hope you can look at my hand so you know what I'm talking about. So Lord was walking, and Sivananda Sen and Vasudev Datta both were with the Lord. So the Lord came to a junction where the road went like this and then like this. So this side was Vasudev Datta's house, and that side was Sivananda Sen's house. Pretty much the same distance from the central point. There was a crossing. So when the Lord came to that point, and he didn't know whose house to go to first. Usually, when, just like if you see in the prasadam line, it has to be me, I have to be the first one taking prasadam I have to be first in the line, or anything, I have to be right in the beginning, or right in the front, it's me, like that. Abhishek, no, I have to be in the front, Everything I have to be in the front. If the spiritual master asks, whose house should I go for, your house or the other devotee's house? No, Gurudev, my house first. Forget about the other devotees, So Mahaprabhu actually asked. He didn't ask to any devotee particularly, but he was hoping to get the answer from Sivananda Sen and Vasudev Datta, because both of them were there. So the Lord asked, whose house should I go first? Vasudev Datta's house or Sivananda Sen's house? Immediately, without any hesitation, Vasudev Datta said, my Lord, please go to the house of Sivananda Sen. Later on, my Lord, if you're merciful upon me and everything is okay, please come to my house. But please go to Sivananda Sen's house first. So Mahaprabhu actually went to the house of Sivananda Sen first. And then he went to the house of Vasudev Datta. And this mood of Vasudev Datta pleased the Lord so much. Just look at the word of Srimad Mahaprabhu. Datta ama jotha beche tothai bikai. My body belongs to Vasudev Datta. I am his property. Wherever Vasudev Datta wants to sell me, he can sell me. Satya ihate anna kichu nai. I say this truth again and again, that my body belongs to Vasudev Datta. Anyone who has been touched by the air that has been touched by Vasudev Datta, I said for certain that Krishna will protect that devotee. My dear devotees, the Lord said very loudly, whoever was there, my dear devotees, please listen to me carefully. Sattami koi suna Vaishnav mandal, ei deho amar Vasudever kebal. My dear devotees, please listen carefully. I say this again and again, that my body belongs to Vasudev Datta. So, these are some of the qualities that attracts the Lord very much. There are certain things that attracts us. We have our likings as far as food is concerned, as far as places to visit is concerned, as far as clothing are concerned, and as far as certain qualities in others which attracts us. But it's important to know which qualities attracts the Lord, so much so that Bikrinite Swamatmanam Bhaktavya Bhaktavatsala. The Lord is so moved by a behavior of a devotee. The Lord says that I am sold to that devotee. Now, the activities of a devotee is very, very important. To understand the activities of a devotee, behavior of a devotee. Arjuna asks Krishna, Chita pragyasya ka bhasa samadhistasya kesava chitadhi kim pravaseta kimasita vrajeta kim. My dear Krishna, you're talking about a devotee. My dear Lord, please explain to me, Chita pragyasya ka bhasa. How does he speak? How does he behave? Now, the qualities that we discussed today, these are the qualities that it attracts the Lord. So if we have a desire to be Krishna conscious, then listening to the glories of the Lord and his devotees will have a huge impact on our life. Some of the qualities that we spoke today, the first quality that we spoke is that a devotee is very, very respectful to the other devotees regardless of their age, of their position, or when they took initiation. Now, it may sound very easy, but practically applying this understanding is very, very difficult. And the second is the kind nature of a Vaishnava. Nijo karjo nahi tobu jan porer ghar. Even though a devotee does not have to, he doesn't need it. But for the benefit of others, he goes out on the street to preach. And therefore, it is very, very important that we be very, very careful in dealing with the devotees. Vasudev Datta was ready to go to hell for eternity. So the living entities can go back to Godhead. And we're very, very fortunate that we have so many exalted devotees in our movement who have dedicated their life to propagate the holy name. And the third quality that we heard, a devotee always will support the other devotee in every way possible. It's not, the devotee's mood is never like, I have to be the first one to get the prasadam. I have to be the first one to get this, get that. No. When Haridas Thakur in the home of Srivas Thakur, when Haridas Thakur was there, and Haridas Thakur had this nature of always staying behind, the Lord immediately called him in the front. This famous statement of Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, and also Prabhupada also had quoted this, that don't try to see God, but act in such a way that God wants to see you. Umapati Maharaj, he tells this story that when he joined, before he joined, he had this concept of seeing God. Therefore, he met many saintly persons, and he was trying to understand the process of seeing God. And suddenly, he got this information about Prabhupada in 26 Second Avenue. He's one of the first devotees of this concept. So as Prabhupada was giving the evening class, so this was his first interaction, first time meeting Prabhupada. So when he walked into 26 Second Avenue, the class had already began. So and it was packed, So the moment Umapati Maharaj walked in, the first thing he heard Prabhupada say, "Don't try to see God." And he was completely amazed. So what do you mean? Sadhu is saying, don't try to see God. That's the very purpose that I came. And he's saying, don't try to see God. But he was very moved, very impressed when he heard the next line. To try to act in such a way that God wants to see you. I always give the example of a normal person. They're giving example of India, for example. If I want to see the Prime Minister of India, say tomorrow evening at 4:00, that's going to be very tough. It's not going to work. If I want to see the Prime Minister tomorrow at 4:00, it just doesn't work. But if the Prime Minister wants to see me tomorrow at 4:00, it's easy. Similarly, I want to see God, it's going to be very difficult. But if God wants to see me, it's easy. So these three qualities that we talked about today, this attracts the Lord's attention. And therefore, act in such a way that God wants to see you. What does it mean, act in such a way? So these three examples that we talked, there are many other examples, but today we spoke about these three examples. If a devotee tries to cultivate these qualities in a Vaishnava, then very easily we can get the attention of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. I'll stop here and see if there is any question on what we discussed today in the class.
You can raise your hand or ask question or put in the chat. Anyone has any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, please accept my humble obeisances. All glories to Sri
Obeisances, bro.
Can you give some advice on what a Vaishnava should do to attract the attention of God? If we're not supposed to go looking for God ourselves, what can we do? What can you recommend to attract Krishna?
So today we spoke about three qualities. Of course, there are many qualities of a Vaishnava that attracts the Lord, but the three qualities that we spoke today that attracts the Lord so much so, the Lord said that I am sold to Vasudeva Datta. And the first quality that we heard today was that his Vasudeva Datta's attitude, respectful attitude towards others. And and sometimes it's not easy to respect others when you don't get the respect in return. Yeah, you don't respect me, I don't respect you. That's the normal consciousness of a normal human being. But devotee is extraordinary. Why? Because a devotee is respectful to other devotees, even though in return, he is not respected by that devotee. What happens to the devotee who respects the other devotee even though he does not get the respect? Mahaprabhu says that, Trinadapi Sunichena Taroriva Sahisnana Amanena Manadena Kirtaniya Satahari. That devotee is able to chant constantly. These four qualities of humility, of tolerance, and giving respects to other devotees without expecting respects in return, only that devotee is able to chant properly with pure heart and constantly. So that's the first quality that we spoke today, that a devotee is very respectful to other devotees. And I always say charity begins at home. Meaning that, in the house, you have family members, you have relatives, and sometimes we're very fortunate that our family members are devotees. So being very respectful to each other, trying to understand each other, and when we meet devotees, we're very respectful, regardless of the age, when they join ISKCON and all that. Even if I joined before, I'm still very respectful, not artificially, genuinely. That attracts the Lord. And the second thing that attracts the Lord very much that we talked about today is the devotee's attitude to go out and preach. It pleases the Lord and pleases Prabhupada. That, and preaching is not easy. I can tell you right now, I'm traveling with 8 devotees. And we're in this remote place, in North Bengal. And sometime, like today, I'm staying in a room that has Wi-Fi, electricity and all that. But 2 days back, we stayed in a very remote place and very austere. It's very cold here right now. And there is only one, I don't know if you understand what is bathroom, meaning washroom, restroom. There's only one restroom, and we're like 15 of us. So we're waking up from 1:30 in the morning so we can all be ready before Mangalarti at 4:30. This is 2024. I'm not talking about 1970s, You hear amazing stories how ISKCON started. Talking about 2024. And I am just surprised to see the devotees I'm traveling with, how sincere they are. And the purpose is to go out and just to preach. And the devotees here, they're so happy to see other devotees. For them, it's like a festival. A devotee is always concerned about others. When a devotee prays for other devotees, it's very normal. When we go to the temple, we pray for ourselves. That's very normal. But devotees are extraordinary. They are not normal. They're praying for others. Look at Prabhupada. When Kirtanananda Maharaj, for some reason, he was in jail, and Prabhupada was informed about that. So, some or other, Kirtanananda Prabhu Maharaj, he came out from the jail and he met Prabhupada. Prabhupada said, he said, I was praying to Krishna every day for you. He was so concerned. So devotees' genuine concern for others, not just concern, but actually doing something for that devotee. Do something that it will enhance the other devotee's spiritual life. That his or her attachment to chanting is increased. That his faith to Prabhupada is increased. That his faith to Mahaprabhu is increased. That his attachment or her attachment to the Holy Dham is increased. That is genuine helping hand. So a devotee is very concerned about other devotees. Like Prabhupada wrote this song about his spiritual master. And here the first line he wrote, Jiver Darada Dukhi, Srila Prabhupada. Meaning our Prabhupada is addressing his guru as Prabhupada. And he said, Jiver Darada Dukhi, Srila Prabhupada. So my dear Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Jiver Darada Dukhi. You are so concerned, all of us so concerned about the other living entities. That you are sad when the other living entities are sad. When they're happy, you are happy. So this nature of a Vaishnava, that they are always very compassionate to the other devotees. And this compassionate nature, we have to be very careful that this is centered around Krishna, not something else. Then otherwise we'll be carried away. That we are concerned that they are not chanting Hare Krishna. They are not coming close to Krishna. So let us do something. Let us inspire them. Let us act in such a way that they will be inspired. So this compassionate nature is the second thing that we spoke about, what it attracts Krishna. And the third point that we discussed today, that a devotee is always pushes the other devotees to get the recognition. Very interesting. That what pleases the Lord is that when you push the other devotee to get the recognition. And Vasudev Datta pushed Saint Sivananda to get the first mercy. No, my Lord, you please go to the house of Sivananda Sen first. Then, if there is time and if everything is okay, at that time, please come to my house. Now, a normal person will be thinking, no, my house first, because God knows what will happen later on, I may not get the mercy. So my house first. But that doesn't please the Lord. What pleases the Lord is that a devotee, he is inspiring other devotees. Go, 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 go. Get the mercy, get the mercy. And he is there always helping, serving. So that mood pleases the Lord. It's very interesting that what pleases Krishna. We can decide what pleases Krishna. Krishna decides what pleases him. And he's very kind to let us know. So he's not hiding his emotions, Sometimes we say, sometimes we don't say what disturbs us. We don't say what makes us really happy. We don't really say what makes us sad. We don't really say it because we feel that he or she may not understand our feelings. But Krishna is very kind. He makes it very, very clear. These are the qualities makes me happy. You want my attention? These are the things. This is how you should behave. So I was just making these 3 points. I'm sorry that I have repeated this, but I guess the more we hear, it goes more inside. I, try to contemplate more. I don't know if it answers you to some extent, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhuji. No, it was me. It was my lack of understanding that made me ask the question when you'd already given the answers for 45 minutes prior. But I appreciate you going above and beyond and explaining in more detail. Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Somebody wrote something. It says, kindly give some examples from your experience how a devotee who makes a mistake in respecting other devotees due to disagreement over service would rectify the mistake. What would they say or do to mend the situation? I just came from giving a class here, and our topic was similar to this, and I made a comment that a devotee lives his life not thinking that I have a long life. A devotee lives his life with this idea that anytime I may have to leave this body. Now, if I knew that I have to leave my body tomorrow, how would I behave? So this, this so-called agreement, disagreement, mistakes, this and that, for a moment, keep this all aside. Who's right, who's wrong? It's very complex, Who's right, who's wrong? It's a very complex subject. It's very difficult to come to a conclusion. Who's right, who's wrong? For a moment, keep this aside and focus on my own life of spirituality. That if I knew that I have to leave this body tomorrow, how would I behave when there is disagreement? How would I respect the other devotee even though he is not respecting? Act in that way and you'll get the answer. Because sometimes, it's very difficult to make our mind understand that I could have acted a little bit more politely, I could have been a little bit more peaceful when he was saying stuff like that. Very difficult to convince the mind. In my experience, I have seen that whenever I have done some mistakes, I make a lot of mistakes. I'm in the management service. So things are not always very easy. But one thing I realized that as time goes, with age and everything, makes me think, how much is it worth to dive into this, thing about, I'm right, you're wrong, or you're wrong, I'm right, that this whole concept. I thought my experience is that when you focus on your own spiritual life, and we play, our attitude is very humble. My experience is that it's much more easier to deal with this complex situations of agreement, disagreement, and all that. Hare Krishna. So another devotee was raised his hand.
Amurdana, Prabhu, go ahead.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Please accept my humble obeisance, all praise to Srila Prabhupada.
My obeisances to Prabhupada.
Prabhu, we also have the instruction that one should have a lot of greed, a lot of lolyum to, serve the deities and, of course, spiritual master, because he's the representative of Krishna. So how do we balance the greed or the excitement we may have? Guru Maharaj, come to my house, I want to serve prasadam, as well as, promoting a god brother or somebody else or an aspiring god brother to have Guru Maharaj go to his house.
When we live in the association of so many devotees, that we are very careful that the mercy that we get or the opportunities that we have to serve and the opportunity that we have to serve and get the mercy, that we do it collectively. Sometimes the situation is such that you're the only one who has to cook, who has to serve, who has to do a lot of service. So that opportunity is always there. And you'll get so much opportunities like that. But then there are situations where you have your other god brothers and other god sisters. And when you sit all together and discuss how collectively we can serve our spiritual master, we can serve Prabhupada and his mission, then it's so much more sweeter. So much more sweeter. A devotee, one devotee is, taking care of the prasad, other devotee is taking care of the traveling, one devotee is taking care of the cleanliness, one devotee is taking care of the sound system and getting all the devotees prasadam, another devotee is taking care of the service. When you talk about organization, there's so many aspects that cannot be fulfilled by one person. Now, if the mood is, I need to do everything, that's okay, but it's very difficult to even serve Guru like that. And if you're talking about organization, if you're talking about, making sure that we take full advantage of that devotee, of the spiritual master or any senior devotee, when they visit, there's so much can be done. And the more people you get involved, if you organize it properly, then you'll see the result is so much more. Bonding between the devotees develops more because you're sharing. So, the sweetness is there more. But again, I'm saying that there are plenty of times you'll get the opportunity. There are not many devotees are around and you have to do the service. So both are nectar, but serving with the devotees together is even more nectar. Haribol Prabhu. I don't know if I've answered you.
Yes, Prabhu, if I may be permitted to ask a follow-up on this. I think what you have said is perfect. There are so many. But in practical application, what happens now, Prabhu? In, let's say, a God family, there are devotees who are, we'll call senior Vaishnavas. And then there are those who are kind of, just joined Hare Krishna. They're inspired by, let's say, an aspiring God family. Now, that level of maturity isn't there. So when Guru Maharaj comes, there's a lot of excitement. And there are only a few devotees who get to do one-on-one service. Of course, there are other services, all service is service, whether you're cleaning the toilet or whatever it is. But for the younger devotees, then that becomes a bone of contention. So even let's say if there is making an offering on Vyas Puja, it's the dignitaries, so to say, or the senior devotees. And of course, that's the etiquette that we need to maintain. So how do we, how do I put this? They get a little disappointed that all the time only these people are, we don't get a chance at all. So how do we educate the, junior, the neophyte, that what you just said, what would be the way to?
There's two aspects to it. If the mood is to please the spiritual master, if the mood is to serve the mission, then it's a different thing. But if the mood is, it's about me, it's I get to serve prasad, that is more important. Whether it falls on spiritual master's clothes instead of the plates, that's not important. The important is that I get to serve prasad. If that is the mood, then what to do? So the leader, whoever is leader or leaders, they have to be practical and engage devotees according to their nature and what they're good at. If someone is not a good cook, and then somebody, it's like, there's a story, pastime of Prabhupada, a young devotee. I think he wasn't even a full-time ISKCON devotee, but, the young devotee just coming up, and it's a son of some congregation devotee. Somehow that he came up and he said he wants to cook for Prabhupada. And he went directly to Prabhupada, I want to cook for you. And Prabhupada, being very merciful, he was like, okay. But Prabhupada was hoping that his cook would be there, making sure that this young devotee knows what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Now the cook thought, oh, Prabhupada said, okay, so Hari Bol, So he did, he started doing his other service. When the time came for lunch and the plate came in front of Prabhupada, and Prabhupada picked up the rice, it was uncooked. The rice wasn't cooked. And the sabzi wasn't there, sabzi wasn't up to the mark at all. So, and then, after the devotee after Prabhupada took prasad, this devotee came, Prabhupada, how was the prasad? He is asking. So Prabhupada very mercifully said, very nice, very nice. And then this devotee left. Prabhupada was very upset. He called his servant. He said, where were you? Oh, Prabhupada, I got busy with other service. He said, eat it. Meaning, he asked him to eat the rice. It was uncooked. So Prabhupada was very disappointed with that. So we may have enthusiasm, but that enthusiasm should be applied intelligently. And the leaders should have that intelligence to engage devotees according to their nature and what they're good at. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it will be a mess. Everybody wants to be the, MC. MC means master ceremony. Everybody wants to be the MC. Everybody wants to serve the prasadam, and nobody wants to cut the vegetables because Gurudev is not standing there, to see you cut the vegetable. And so they want to be, the MC. They want to be, just the devotee who wants to serve prasadam. So, and you see there are many devotees who are excellent in serving prasad. the way they serve prasad, you feel like taking some more. There are amazing cooks. So we should find out who's good in what. So there are two ways. One is the general devotees, they should be trained. We should be trained right from the beginning of the attitude in which we serve. And the leader's position to see that devotees are engaged according to their nature and capacity. There has to be balance. And like I was saying, that this mood of inspiring other devotees to get the credit, while that is there, but the devotees mood also should be not to get the credit. So both, someone is trying to give you all the credit, and you are also not in the mood of getting all the credit. So this two bonding is beautiful. Now, if one side they want to give you the credit, and the other side you are hankering for that credit, that's not beautiful. So, this mixture of the devotees inspiring other devotees, and the other devotees are very humble and giving all the credit to the Lord and his representatives, that's beautiful. It takes time and it's not easy because we have so many devotees, and everybody, sometimes, it's not all the time, sometimes everybody feels, they're all expert in that field, So then it's a problem. But with due course of time, I think devotees also settles down a little bit more. And it takes time. And the spiritual master also understands sometimes. Okay, these are, they're over enthusiastic sometimes. So he also tolerates. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Prabhu. Thank you.
Krishna Nam Prabhu, I might have to go. Sachi Mata has raised hand. Maybe I'll just take and just give a very brief answer. Then I'll take it. Sachi Mata.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Please accept my wonderful, my respectful obeisances.
My obeisances.
Yeah, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Prabhuji, you're talking about giving respect. Mostly I mentioned, like I heard, like respect to devotees. The problem comes, when it's easy to give respect to people or devotees who are thinking alike, like you, who are following what you do. But like what I'm struggling with is sometimes, not always, I lose patience and I become intolerant with people who are not thinking or following what I believe in, like say relatives or colleagues. I feel like, why are they wasting their time, but it's said and I've heard like we should feel compassion towards them. So how to build tolerance? And I try my best because I say, okay, let me see Krishna and everybody, and like set a good example and inspire them. But sometimes, even though not verbally, but in my mind, I do become like intolerant, disrespectful, and these thoughts come, why are they doing this? Why, like, why are they not following? Like, I hope you understand what I'm trying to say, like you become impatient with the materialistic world, like, so with a little bit, like kind of ego also comes in you. Yes, you're following the right path, like, so that shouldn't be there. That I feel that intolerance and impatience should not be there. I don't feel good about it. But like I just like I said, I'm trying my best, but I do need guidance how to work on it.
Serving with like-minded devotees, associating with like-minded devotees, chanting with like-minded devotees. That is no doubt very important and is accepted and bona fide. At the same time, there are other devotees who are doing wonderful service, who may have a different attitude and different mindset. That is also okay. I don't have to, or everyone doesn't have to agree with me. everyone doesn't have to like paratha, you know. It's okay that someone likes dosa and someone likes rice. It's okay that someone likes sambar and someone liking normal Bengali dal. It's okay. So respecting the diversity, respecting that this devotee is more into deity worship and I am more into kirtan. It is okay that someone is more into just giving Charanamrita in the temple and someone else is more into gardening for Krishna. It's okay. Now, when there are situations where it disturbs us because of certain devotees' mindset, we keep a respectful distance without criticizing them and without getting into their business. At the end of the day, he or she is answerable to Krishna, not me. If I am his authority, then there is a process of expressing my thoughts to that devotee. But if I am not his authority, then I may bring up the issue to the authorities in a very polite way and let the management, let the administrator decide how they want to move. I was disturbed about something, I said it, Haripo, that's it. But never get into, this nitty-gritties, then our life becomes very, very complicated. So again, in conclusion, like if you have like-minded devotees that you serve with, that is the best. But at the same time, we also respect other devotees who may not be like-minded and they have other mindset of doing their service, which is also okay. They're trying to serve Krishna according to their likings. You're trying to serve Krishna according to your likings. And if something is bothering you, if you can do something about it, following the Vaishnava etiquette, then do it. If you cannot, keep a respectful distance. Stay peaceful and do your service. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhuji, yeah, I know you have to go, but I was not, just want to clarify something, that I was not talking about respect for devotees. That is there. It's the non-devotees I'm talking about that you have to deal with.
Yes.
But that's, you have to go, that's okay. Yeah, we can.
Non-devotees, non-devotees, like many times, if you're doing a job or, you have your own business or you're doing some job outside, you have to deal with so many non-devotees. Yes, that's true. At the same time, a devotee also sees him as a soul more than the body. So while a devotee does make a distinction between devotees and non-devotees, but that distinction is also, it's a very high level distinction. That a devotee is also respectful to the non-devotees, but their mindset is very different. They're more into sense enjoyment, their food habit, their music likings are very, very different. And we keep a respectful distance from them. We have to be very careful that we don't get carried away by their mindset, because that will affect our devotional life. So we have to be very, very careful in how we deal in our workplace with them. Haribol.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Thank you very much, Naru Gopal Prabhu. It was
Thank
very
you.
heart touching and moving. The example, the way you said it. So hopefully I will improve myself. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone. Please forgive me if I have offended anyone or said something which is not proper. Please forgive me and bless me that I can dedicate my life to the mission of Srila Prabhupada, chanting Hare Krishna. Haribol.
Haribol, Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dhanavad pranam.
Thank you so much.
All the rest.
Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Announcements. February 13th is Vasant Panchami, and Tuesday. Is also Raghunath Das Goswami's appearance day, and Viswanath Chakravarti Thakur's disappearance day, Raghunandan Thakur's appearance day, very important day. Great exalted acharyas in our line, so to remember them, to pray to them for the causeless mercy. February 15th, Thursday, is Lord Advaita Acharya Prabhu's Mahavishnu's appearance day, fasting till noon. 15th Thursday, we'll have program in the day evening in the temple. And also, there's a program, I think, day before, February 14th evening, we have His Grace Radhe Shyam Prabhu will be giving class in our temple in the evening, from 7 to 9. So we'll post the details in the group. And the coming also important days, February 21st is Lord Nityananda Trayodasi, very, very important day for all of us. We'll be celebrating at our temple, 6:30 to 9, Kirtan, Abhishek, Katha and everything. So fasting is there day before. February 20th will be fasting till noon completely for Varaha Dev and also Nityananda Prabhu, because the 21st we have to break the fast, even though it's Nityananda Trayodasi. So that's why there is no fasting on that day, specifically February 21st. So please make that note clearly. And we have Love Fest Kirtan program that is on the next weekend, start Saturday, Sunday. So those details are already posted and it is there at the temple, flyers are there. So thank you very much. We'll end the session. Join Sunday Peace program today evening, 5:30 to 9. ISKCON of Gita Nagari is coming today evening to present their products of Gita Nagari, milk and everything. As Prabhupada wanted to go before leaving the planet, he couldn't go, but his desire was there. My 50% of work is not done. I want to come to Gita Nagari, stay there and show you how to practice, how to be simple living, high thinking. Prabhupada himself said that he wants to come to Gita Nagari and show. So in that way, we are very fortunate to get the milk and the vegetables from Gita Nagari now. So let's try to support whatever way we can in the evening when they are there. So, and if you like to order from Govindas, govindasnj.com, we have Friday evenings pizza, and you can order food for any of the parties or any programs you or others have. Please contact one of us if you like to order anything. And that will close the session, today's session, unless anyone has a quick question. Okay, thank you very much. Manchagal Pudarubhasya, Pasandubhasya.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.